So they allowed him back in that home, knowing he raped me. They called me a liar, though. Knowing he raped me for years, knowing he gave me to the neighbor to rape me, knowing that I told them I was so scared that I literally froze when running from him when he dragged me back down the basement steps and raped me.
And these reports were made to
them, to the police. Judge Charles Parsons knew. CPS knew. CPS even took pictures the day that I was put back in the system.
And Judge Charles Parsons obviously didn't care either. He probably took the direction of CPS. And
They placed me as a delinquent ward, despite me sitting in that courtroom covered in bruises and cuts.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Greg Weir, entrepreneur, author, and now founder of the More Than Just Luck podcast, broadcasted from the newly constructed More Than Just Luck studio, a world-class production facility featuring cinema-quality cameras, broadcast-grade audio, and cutting-edge technology designed to tell powerful stories the way they should be told. I recently released my book, More Than Just Luck, where I share the true story of my journey in business, the victories, the failures, setbacks, the risks, and the sacrifices it took to not only get to the top, but to stay there. Everyone needs a little luck in their life, but lasting success takes more than just luck. It takes grit, it takes discipline, and it takes the courage to keep going when everyone else just quits. I am not afraid to shine a light on difficult subjects. I want to hear stories from people like myself that tried and tried again. I want to hear from people who failed, who picked themselves up and found a way to make it. I want to hear from people who were victims of corporate America, that's been abused, whatever the case is, where someone tried to bring you down. Our job on this show is let people hear it, feel it, and believe it, and bring you up to where you belong. If you have a successful business, product, wrote a book, or have a feel-good story, something you can share with our audience to help the next person. Because believe me, most people don't want to help each other. They're selfish and self-centered. Let's be different. Let's share our successes. Let's talk about our failures, how to get past it, and how to move forward and become something and someone. If you want to share your story or your experience, I would ask that you go to morethanjustluck.com, fill out the guest application, and if we think it's a good fit, someone from my team will contact you. I want to thank you for joining us today and becoming part of the More Than Just Luck community. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation. You're going to have some fun. Well, hello, everybody. As everybody probably knows by now, my name is Greg Weir. I do the More Than Just Luck podcast, and I asked Rainey to come back here this morning to continue our conversation we had the other day, because I thought it was kind of interesting, kind of a recap what we did talked about the other day. As Rainey was in several different homes placed through the state of Michigan because she had shitty foster parents. She seemed every place she stopped, it was a horrible place. She had siblings or foster siblings that molested her. A mom that beat her, or foster mom, and it seemed the system kept on just abusing her and wherever else. And so finally she was basically told that Vista Maria was this great experience, and it was gonna be like a college type atmosphere with cross-country skiing and swimming pools. She didn't say movie stars, but let's just say it's for movie stars. And so she really thought maybe she found light at the end of the tunnel, but shortly after getting there, she meets many people, but the guy who violated her the most is somebody who identified as, I call him Mr. Wolfman, because that piece of shit wears a ring on his finger that signifies a wolf with the wolf's teeth hanging out. A little more conversation. Mr. Wolfman is married, or at least he was. And he likes to fuck little girls. And so Rainey was fortunate enough to come across this poem book that's in front of me. And I'll probably start today off with talking about one of many poems in here, because it's new to me. I read one, but I kind of like reading. And the reading kind of will lead to other questions. So Mr. Wolfman, if you're watching, go fuck yourself. You're a piece of shit. You ruined a girl's life sitting next to me. And if you deny it, you sure in the fuck didn't help it. With that being said, I'm going to start off with...
Really quick, do you mind if I say something first?
Please.
I'm so sorry. I do want to clarify that he ruined a chapter of my life. He did not ruin my entire life because regardless of what was done to me, I am taking that around and I'm still in control of my future. So he did ruin a big chapter and part of my development, but I'm not giving him that type of control to ruin my entire life.
Actually, I love that. Glad you corrected me. I'll say he ruined your teenage years.
Yes.
So, Mr. Wolfman, you're a piece of shit. If somebody out there knows who this guy is, we'll probably eventually figure it out through courts or subpoenas or whatever. We'll eventually figure it out. But if somebody can rush this and get me a guy's name, it's pretty simple. I mean, I carry a nice, pretty ring on my finger. If somebody wanted to find me, they want to find Greg Weir, probably this guy that wears a fancy ring or a watch. Pretty easy to find. If you know who this guy is and give me a name, I mean, I got a minimum of $1,000 minimum that would pay just for the name, and I'll figure the rest out. So if somebody hears it, watch it, sees it, and maybe more. It depends if you have more information, like where he lives and all that good stuff. But at a minimum, I'm just curious. I like to talk to him. I'd like to talk to him. If this wolf piece of shit hears this, feel free to call me. And
I want to put my boot in his face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He is the guy. But remember, he's the guy that put this boot in her face. And what he basically did, if you remember this just right, was early on in her Vista Maria days, if it wasn't your first day almost.
In the first couple months. It wasn't my first day, but it was when I first got there, like within a month or two of me getting there.
Yeah, so he goes in there and he basically gets in her stairwell and he basically beats her and he hits her head against the cement, if I recall the conversation correctly. And then in the end, he basically put his foot at her mouth and made him lick his boot. Is that what happened? That's kind of disgusting.
When carrying that mattress out that another girl had peed on into the locked little hallway in the back end. Yep.
Maybe $1,000 is enough. Let's make it $2,000 just because.
$2,000.
$2,000 to find out who this guy is, because we'll find out who you are.
Oh yeah, I'm actively searching and looking.
Well, to talk to him. Like, I'm curious. I don't like to go on here and talk about people and who they are, what they didn't do. But I think there's two sides to every story. I doubt he'll talk to us.
I mean, but maybe he will. Maybe he'll be like,
maybe he found God.
Man, I want to try and justify this.
Yeah, maybe he found God. Maybe things are all better
too.
now. He could be all better. He wants to forgive his sins. He's got to start somewhere.
He wants forgiveness. He can start by owning up to what he did.
Yeah, so I'm going to start off with this poem that she wrote as it related to Mr. Wolf Piece of Shit. It's called Losing Control. I'm losing control of my feelings, of my heart, of my life. I told myself I would never fall in love, that it didn't exist, that it was just something people made up. But I learned that I was just lying to myself. Because you met Mr. Wolfman. Because here I am, falling in love with Mr. Wolfman. Oh. And I fall deeper every day, even when he makes me angry. Or licking his boots or whatever.
One of the ways he would make me angry, absolutely.
I can't stay mad at him, no matter how hard I try, because he's the only one who can penetrate my icy exterior to get to my warm interior. This getting too close to my heart, and it's not worth the risk of hurt again. So clearly, I'm not a therapist or any kind of medical professional, but I think there's a difference between falling in love and sex, and clearly Mr. Wolfman enjoyed the sex in exchange for sex. Simple things in life that we all might take for granted, like bras, underwear, tampons, things like that. So as a reason to get this, and I do 100% blame Vista Maria for a couple different reasons, for employing such pieces of shit like that, but also not supervising or asking. And if you remember, there's a doctor that she had brought this to the attention of, and her name was?
Dr. Christy Vagey.
So Christy Vagey was the therapist who she reported early on that the attacks and the abuse and the sexual abuse was going on. And if you remember, there was a very, very serious situation in Christy's life. Her husband lost her ATM card, has some kind of problem. So
somebody stole the money or something.
Real serious. And so she had to discontinue the conversation and take the call and run out of there because that was more important than a young girl being raped. But Christy, if you're in the profession still, you're making the profession shameful if that story's accurate. So it's too bad that, so you're a piece of shit too, actually. So Christy, you're a piece of shit. Because if you're a medical professional at any level, then you have the obligation to, especially of children in a facility like Vista Maria, you think they would want to know what's going on. That's how, they say
They're
something.
mandated reporter.
Yeah, exactly. It is mandated. It says if you see something, say something. So you did, and no one heard you. So it just continues on. So for the next, from the age of 16 years old until, how long were you?
I was 19 when Jessica got me out of Vista.
So Jessica, Mr. Wolfman was your sex satisfier for 19?
He was there when I left, he was still there.
Were you guys still romantic? I always romantically involved because you were just fucking.
Unfortunately, my Delulu self, and I say Delulu because I'm disgusted by the things I wrote. Unfortunately, I believed that I 6 to 8 months in, I believed that I was like in love with this dude. And romantic, I guess, if you can call it that.
I use it fucking because you can't be romantic. You're a child.
I don't know what to call it.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Because,
we were having sex. He would provide me with underwear, socks, bras, gushers, snacks, stuff like that. When I was on my period, he would give me stuff to boost my iron because I have an iron deficiency. By the time I didn't know that, I'd just constantly pass out, and nobody would ever help me. I was constantly passing out.
So the gentleman with the big wolf ring had a cheap prostitute. He'd go buy some simple underwear, some tampons, and he can get laid when he wants. So how often did you guys have sex at Vista Maria?
At the beginning, when it first started, obviously it was I'd wake up and he'd be in my room. I'd wake up to him waking me up.
Once a week, twice a week?
Multiple times a week.
So multiple times a week, Mr. Wolfman. So I guess his wife wasn't fucking him.
I mean, either that or she left him.
Or he had a sexual addiction.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to have sex with him either. Like, now looking back at him, I'm like...
He was a black male, white male?
He was a black male, yes.
Black male at that time. What year was this?
Whew. That's a good question. 16, so 2016, 2017 maybe?
So 26, wasn't that long ago, actually? So wasn't that long ago?
That was less than 10 years ago. Yeah.
So less than 10 years ago, Mr. Wolfman, how old was he back then?
30s.
So Mr. Wolfie's.
I'm such a bad character of age, though. He could have been in his 30s. Maybe he just looked young and he was in his 40s. I generally don't know. But based on how he looks, I'm going to guess like 30s.
Most likely he's still alive. He's still out there somewhere. He's still out there probably fucking little kids. Once you're a child rapist or a pervert or I
personally don't believe once you do that to a child, there's never going back. I don't care if it's been 5 years or 20 years. There's no going back.
No, I don't disagree with you. So Christy or whatever her name was, she didn't do her job. So these sex sessions, he would just show up in your room. He must have said, "Be quiet, shh, don't say nothing, nobody can hear," or no one cared.
So for one, he never told me to be quiet, that I can recall, other than the first couple of times. After that, it just was implied that you be quiet or something's going to happen. Or, I'm going to get a boot in my face. I'm going to get smacked to the floor. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, because it all started really because he beat the shit out of you. Put your face into, if I remember correctly.
And forced me to lick his boot, yeah.
Yeah, and forced to lick his boots. At that point in time.
And it wasn't even a clean boot. It was disgusting. It was very dirty.
Was he fucking any other girls there, do you know?
I don't know, but I would imagine he would be. Although, as somebody that's fucking me multiple times a week, how do you have energy? Plus, you have a wife. I don't know how somebody has an energy like that.
Viagra's probably a hell of a drug.
You're not wrong there. Oh my gosh, my friend would love you for saying that.
Yeah. That's what they say. So you go into this book. Sometimes I read out what it means. If you remember, tell me. But again, this is new to me. I didn't read this.
Some of these are the later ones. I'm going to ask you not to read.
Just tell me when to stop them.
Anything past the one you read. Anything before that thick part in the beginning, you can read any of those. But the ones in the back, I just ask you don't read.
Don't go past losing control.
Yes, just because some of them are a little
extreme.
More. Yes, and I'm not comfortable with those ones.
That's fair enough. It's your business.
Much appreciated.
This might be Mr. Wolf too.
If it's about love, yes. Unfortunately, they are.
No matter how hard it hurts, I need to remember that you're not mine. Yes, because Mr. Wolf
Was married.
to a man. That I don't belong to you. I need to remember how badly you hurt me, how much you played me, how much you act like you cared. When you held me close, when you kissed my forehead and wrapped your arms around me, you told me that you were 100, and I believed you. Because that's what you said. But I was naive. I wish I could take back the past and take back the feelings, but I can't, and I don't know why. Well, because you needed tampons and underwear and stuff. That's why.
I have found...
You wanted to eat. You brought you food, right? You brought you treats and candy, and he made you feel special. And you're basically in a prison in a locked-ass room being treated like shit. So what's your choice? He's your only friend, right?
And I found that when you have nobody and nothing, you're more likely, more susceptible to agree to things, no matter how much it would disgust you or bother you otherwise.
Correct. I know I need to move on, but it's so damn hard, especially when you're in a prison, locked in a place you can't get out of. Yeah, I can't move on. You're stuck. So I know you meant move on from this guy, but what's your choice? What's your choice? It isn't like there's a choice at Vista Maria.
No, I mean, we had a security guard at Vista. We were locked in, and I don't think people really realize how many locks it would take us to get out of a Vista Hall.
So she ends it with, so I guess you can do what you like, because I don't know what the fuck to do. So that means you can beat me, hit me, rape me, do whatever you want, and you can just go ahead and do that. So that guy really is just a
There's
piece
one
of
in
shit.
particular. Do you mind handing me that?
Of
One
course.
in particular about Vista Maria itself. Not necessarily a person, but about Vista itself.
You know, when I started this, I really was starting a podcast. I had some other plans for this book I wrote and some other things. And then as I got to know some of the girls from Vista Maria and some of the conversations, I actually changed my route of what my ideal to, become a podcaster to do. And someone I'll end up in this Vista Maria world. And I'm glad I did, because what a shitty facility.
It really is.
From the top all the way down, I learned so much every single day. My days and nights are spent just looking at the leadership there and how inept they really were and how disgusting the place is.
What's crazy is they could have prevented this. There's so many things they could have done to prevent this.
They're supposed to prevent this. But there's too many levels that it should have been prevented. It should have been prevented.
And they chose not to.
Well, they chose not to. The state of Michigan chose not to. The Dearborn Heights Police chose not to. The donors, nobody checked and balanced. It was a feel-good story. They employed a bunch of inept, unqualified individuals that shouldn't have been in the position in the first place.
And when you have a place like this, or literally any prison, and any place where people are confined, if there's no check and balance system, I can guarantee you there's some shady shit going on there. If there's no check and balance, and even then sometimes there's going to be some shady shit. But if there's none, guarantee you there's abuse, rape, something shady is going on there.
And when you're locked up, you'll do anything for the sake of survival, because you want to survive and get out.
Yep.
What I find amazing more than anything in this whole conversation is, and I've talked to several girls in the last several weeks, but their memories are incredible. And I think a little bit I know, I don't really know it all by no means, but I think that giving the girls drugs, kind of, if I put the puzzle together, and again, I'm an investigator by trade, so I can put those things together. If I was an attorney, I think I'd have a field day with this, because
Molly and ecstasy were given to the girls too.
That's what I'm saying. So exactly. So I give you drugs. I feed you alcohol. There's one story where there's girls were forced to go down on each other
after,
drinking and getting high. Did that ever occur to you? Did that ever happen to you? So
myself personally, no, but I did tell you last week how I witnessed a staff member forcing another girl to go down on another girl in the room across from me. Yeah. So and then you told me that somebody else had told you a similar thing. And I was surprised. I'm like, I'm glad other people are saying this, because nobody believed me when I said that. I'm like, bro, I literally looked out my window and you could see a staff member in there.
And I see, and it was 6 or 8 girls, and the names were mentioned. And I see some of the comments online, and I don't want to start a pissing contest with anybody, but just because one girl had a good experience at Vista Maria doesn't mean 25 others didn't. I see a lot of coming back as a little arguments. Sissies have opinions, and just because you were there and maybe because you were smart, because your mom was somebody or whatever.
But the big thing is it depends on the hall.
That's correct.
There's so many halls on Vista, and I myself have been to 3 different buildings on Vista. So I can say with certainty that if you lived in an independent living building on the edge of Vista, you had that shit great. I'm sure some of these girls are probably from that hall. There's 2 of them. They got snacks whenever they wanted. They got drinks whenever they wanted. They had a water fountain. They could just go and get some water if they wanted. Their rooms weren't locked.
So
they had
life
clothes.
was different over there.
Yes.
What separated those girls from, say, you? Because you weren't there for crimes. You didn't commit any crimes.
So when I first went into the system, and this is what set me on the path, which is why I mention it. Originally, the accusation was that this medically ill child, 13-year-old me, attacked my foster parents. Truth is, I was held down by my foster mother while I got the shit beat out of me. And then I ran. And that's what got me put back into the system. But because I said that enough was enough at my last facility, which I don't remember what the facility...
We'll name off in a minute.
Yeah, facility before that one, but whichever one it was, I got tired of it, flipped out, said I was done, and I started throwing things or whatever. And there's okay, you're going to Vista. So, but before that, I was a polite child. And you can see, I have papers that state my behavior, everything. I was a polite child. I was kind. I was thoughtful. I went on my way to help others, even when meant myself would be down and out. And to this day, I'm still that person, which is honestly a miracle.
And smart. Very well written here.
Yes. And
I couldn't write this kind of stuff.
Well, and it's I used to write a lot with poems or songs and not just normal journaling, because writing and hearing people talk would bug the hell out of me, and I don't know why. Still to this day, don't know why. But there's times when it just drives me nuts. So that's how I would write, and I forgot what we were talking about. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We're going to read this poem. You're fine. So this is written thinking of Vista Maria in your mind. Is anyone out there?
Oh, yes. This was when I wrote this because I thought I was going to die at Vista Maria.
Well, a few girls did die at Vista Maria.
Yes, they did indeed. And
so you're fortunate to get out of there.
Girls die in a lot of these places.
I heard the other day, again, I'm not on the side of legal by no means. So what I really learned is through the girls. And that's all I really know. As far as the attorneys and stuff go, I don't have a lot of contact with them. So I don't know the ends of that case. So I was aware of Angelica dying. I knew that. Did you know Angelica?
I did not. When I was there, I didn't know about any girl dying when I was there. The girl that died in the system was when I lived at another facility. Okay. She died because the staff refused her medical treatment for epilepsy. Okay. So she ended up dying at 17.
That was Angelica, basically. Same thing. I think she was 17 as well. She had a seizure because they believe, or there's been allegations
that you were faking it.
Yeah, faking it, whatever. There's really no investigation. Life went on. No one got charged or anything. Then I learned the other day there was 2 girls that hung themselves and killed themselves there. And another girl said someone had died in an ambulance. That could have been one of the girls hanging themselves. Who knows? So we're at 3 deaths, maybe 4 deaths that we're aware of.
Well, Vista Maria, especially with epilepsy, they don't get you. I myself, there is multiple recorded incidents, and where in the basement school, I was having a seizure, and their resolution was to pour hot water on me or cold water on me. Instead of helping me, instead of getting me to the floor, whatever, I just got water dumped on me. They do this to anyone that has epilepsy. You do not get treatment for there.
It's back to that unqualified help again.
Literally.
It's a lack of medical personnel on site.
Yes, and if you flail too much during your episode, you get restrained.
I'm still amazed that staff gives shots and I'm medical professionals.
Yes, sorry, I got really angry.
Wasn't that you that got the doctor? Was it you that got angry when she found out they wrote a script?
No, that was another girl. I actually heard about that story, but I did get butt shots. But unfortunately, my caseworker allowed all of this, even though I told him, how it was making me feel, that it was physically making me ill, all these other things, in some areas making me catatonic. I couldn't eat. He forced me to take them anyways. And when I refused to take them, that's when I got booty darted. Yeah, you get restrained and get a
booty dart. I've heard that terminology, booty dart. So here we go. This was written, is anyone out there? Because I'm not the person I want to be. Stuck all alone where I can't be free, except Mr. Wolf, piece of shit. Is anyone out there? That world seems so lonely. Please, someone tell me. If someone is out there for me, is anyone out there? Please don't leave me. I seem to be stuck in the hands of the enemy. And Mr. Wolf, who was the enemy? Is anyone out there? Please tell me. I don't want to be free. No, I want to be free. Away from the hands of the enemy. And the enemy is, of course, Vista Maria.
Yes.
And
So, and
the staff
this whole, so it's actually a song. That's why it sounds kind of funny when you read it, just an FYI. Yeah, so when I wrote it, though, it was about Vista Maria as a whole, not just an individual. It was, because Vista Maria is just shit, bro. Like, I genuinely don't know how else to say it.
I don't disagree with you. Is anyone out there? Please tell me. I don't want to be stuck where I can't be free. Is anyone out there? Please tell me. This world seems so lonely when you're stuck in the hands of the enemy. Is anyone out there? Please tell me. Before I'm stuck with the bad enemy, is anyone out there? Please answer me. All I want is to be free. So if anyone is out there, please tell me. This world seems so lonely. We're in the grasp of the enemy. So if anyone is out there, please tell me. Don't leave me alone. I'm in the hands of the enemy. Sign your name. Mm-hmm. So this is about 10 years old, this book. That's when the poems were written.
Yep. Well, some of them are old as 15 years ago at the very beginning.
And okay, fair enough. Maybe 15 years old. So I'm going to hand this back to her. But for those wondering, whatever, we're going to go through some more documents here. And they're all going to be new to me, so I'm not well versed in it or anything else. I'm just trying to get to I try to put a puzzle together. And what I found so far is, these girls, we talked, so many stories are consistent. So many of the activities and the actions and the reactions and the medicine and things like that are all consistent. And some of the stories are exact. And again, some of these girls live hundreds and hundreds of miles away. Some are local, and some had not seen each other, have no contact with other girls. So it isn't like they sat in a room and talked about it and said, boy, we're going to say this, that, or the other. There's really not much relationship with these girls. Some show up at our monthly meetings, and the next one's going to be August 18th at Prestige Banquet Hall.
Which will be the first one I've attended, just for anyone wondering if I've, sat down with them myself.
Okay.
I've never attended any of the ones before, and I haven't seen any of the Vista girls since Vista.
Okay. So there you go. That's pretty much the common with each of them. That's not one out their life that you said, even though Mr. Wolf piece of shit stole part of your life, you're a mom now. You're living life trying to get through the next stage of life and raising kids and working and doing all that stuff. And it seems like a lot of these girls have moved on to the same thing. You would have went to school. If I remember, again, Miss Maria said you couldn't go to school.
Yeah, well, I ended up going to school anyways.
Without Miss Maria's help against her. Because you left. You left Miss Maria.
Well, I started doing behind their backs. So the CEO, after she got me to stay, she put me in a different building in Vista.
You should be called CEO when your facility is ran like this. You should be in prison.
You really shouldn't.
You really shouldn't. I can't even cry. I realized she was the one CEO.
That shortly after she got me there, though, that's when I got into slave labor. And I don't like to use that word, but that's what that was. I was getting paid $20 a day, if anything. There's most days I wasn't getting paid anything, but if I did get paid money, no more than $20. And I was forced to stay in this little medical building that was literally just across the place from Vista. I wasn't allowed to leave, and this dude tried to force me to marry one of the other guys there.
Arab guy.
Yeah, and then tried to break my phone because he found out I was talking to a black guy.
Okay.
So
shame on you.
Yeah, so like Vista literally is how I got into being, and I don't like to use that word because it's sounds awful, but I was trafficked for a short amount of time as a worker.
That's what it's called.
Not for sex, but for actual work. So, and that part's just crazy to me. Like thinking that, I'm like, honestly, the fact that I got out is a miracle.
What's even more amazing is, I didn't even realize that trafficking meant that until I met you. I didn't realize, I'd always thought trafficking was like sex trafficking. I didn't realize it was manual labor. In this case, it was concrete, I believe you said, wasn't it? Concrete type work?
Taking old homes, a lot of them were trap houses and stuff, and turning them into new homes. So there was a lot of human feces and condoms and I'd have to tear apart the insides of these homes, like completely demolish them for $20 a day, if anything.
Yeah, I used to buy houses like that, so I'm familiar with how nasty they can be.
Yeah, they're
But I can
disgusting.
assure we hired qualified contractors and no children. How old were you when you worked for the trafficker?
I was 19.
So you're 19, so you're trafficking, you had to survive. So you're an adult now. I mean, it's illegal. There's minimum wage guidelines and OSHA guidelines and all those things. That's a whole nother argument. But for anybody watching this, it isn't just sex trafficking. She was literally lied to, promised a job, then pretty much...
I was completely catfished, like on a dating website. That's how I got into this. I was using POF, one of those... I don't think it exists anymore. If it does, it's not widely used. But the dude on there, I got catfished, and then I got trafficked.
That's it. So there's probably more people out there doing the same thing. So a lot of people, I guess, even me, I was naive to it. So I just thought when you're trafficking, you go into the airport, you see a sign of... You call us this number if you're emergency or wherever else. You see it on TV, a lot of coverage. There was a movie come out a couple years ago, but really it was all sex related. It wasn't work related. So when you're when you get the cheapest price, so if you're out there buying construction services or cleaning services, the best price and always the cheapest price because you're hiring really people that are forced to work for a much lower wage. So buyer beware if you're buying services. Know who the staff is and know who the crew is. Make sure they're not children being trafficked. Get to know them. Offer a cup of coffee or a soda pop or something to find out, you're not putting people that are basically are victims of criminals doing work at your house. And I would suspect jobs like landscaping, janitorial services, construction, clean up debris, that kind of stuff, storm cleanup, that'd all be like young people.
The ones that you want to be wary of are the private landlords and the private sellers. Those ones are the ones that don't hire normal contractors. The ones that do hire, normal contractors, they hire a team out, whatever. Those ones are less likely to have workers like that. But the one that I personally got trafficked by was a private landlord who was also a private seller. And he's still a landlord to this day in Detroit. He still sells homes and does this. And he has like a whole hierarchy. There's men that he has in this situation. So, and I don't know if there's, good or not, but...
You want to say his name or no?
His name's Muhammad. I don't know his last name. I never knew his last name, but there's a Blue medical facility just outside Vista Maria. So if you look up property owners for the last 10 years, find the one around 2018, 2019. That's your guy.
Wow. So he's committing crimes every day, maybe still committing crimes today.
I have no clue. But I do know, he had a whole hierarchy. It was white men and then black men and then the woman. And I was the only woman until another girl got brought in, but then she left shortly after. But I think she had a choice from my understanding.
Yeah, you took out to Florida, right? You just took off?
Yeah. So I told him a lie. I lied through my fucking teeth. I remember
the story. Yeah.
Yep. And then I never came back. I changed my phone number. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I got a whole new phone and everything. And then I didn't come back.
Smart.
Well, eventually I did. But then I found out my birth mother, unfortunately for who she really was. I was taken from her as a child, but I met her as an adult. And yeah.
Before you get documentations here, this is, I'm going to read these facilities. And, one is what your future is. And I'm not really sure.
And this is in less than 5 years. 4 years, 3 months, 18 days.
So in these, in that period of time, you were I'm going to name them off here in just a minute, and give me a 15-second on each one. Feeling of the place, piece of shit, great place, good staff, whatever the good, bad, and ugly is. And last one. We already knew who that is. So we're going to start with Muskegon River Youth Home.
Awful.
Vassar House.
Even worse.
Forest Vico.
Oh, Forest View.
Oh, Forest View. Okay, you're
right.
Yeah,
that is actually a psychiatric hospital. Okay. And there's some shady shit that goes there, too, in the pediatrics wing.
Okay. Shady shit. Give me another.
I mean, I had some good times too. They have a whole music program, and most of my days with Forest View were fantastic.
Okay.
But come nighttime, it's when the shady shit happened, and it's when there was 2 hallways, girls this way, boys this way, and there was a male staff that would come out after giving you your nighttime meds, and the guys and the girls would be encouraged to mingle and go in each other's rooms. I was not comfortable with that. Unfortunately, we had roommates and I didn't really have a choice. So that wasn't great. But personally, I think that's kind of fucked. But beyond that, it was pretty good.
Okay. Vassar House?
Oh, yes. Vassar House. Vassar House is awful. And I know a lot of girls that went to Vista probably have been either at Vassar House themselves or know somebody that has. That place, they have a girls section and a boys section.
We'll get that in just a minute. Pine Rest?
Oh, yep. Their residential program.
Okay. Piece of shit place?
Therapist, amazing. Sarah D. Young, fantastic. But the halls themselves, absolutely not.
Pathways of the Hope?
Pathways of Hope is the place where we were doing forced labor on the little farm in Lake City. And then if we didn't go and work on the horse farm on Sundays and stuff, we'd get restrained.
Wonderful.
So if we refused to do any of the things they wanted us to do, we'd be restrained immediately.
Muskegon River Youth Home?
Yep, I went there twice. After I refused the labor, they sent me back to Muskegon River Youth Home.
It's up here. Yep.
And the second place was way worse. Yep.
So Juvenile Care Center, Midland,
Oh,
Michigan.
I forgot I lived there. That was actually the best.
Was it?
Oh, yes. I can honestly say that for myself personally, there was nothing bad for myself that happened. Now, there is a girl, though, that the reason why they're on my list is because one day I wanted to get justice for her. She was in a different pod than I was. And from what she has told me is she was raped repeatedly by the guy that ran her pod. Every single night she was raped. She eventually took her life.
Oh, jeez.
So are on my list because of her. But my personal experience with them was pretty good. And I hate to say it when something so fucked up happened there, because that just makes me more angry about it. But I had privileges because I'm like my best behavior. They had a dog and everything, a therapy dog.
Okay.
So my pod was good. Other people's pods, from my understanding, were not good.
So the Juvenile Justice Care Center, JCC, Midland, Michigan. Unfortunately, a girl's life is gone because another pedophile decided to have sex with a little girl.
And that's the same girl that gave me my name.
Oh, really?
Rainey, yep.
That's too bad. Well, like I said, we can go on and on, but the end result is it's kind of sad because it's a pattern practice throughout the entire state of Michigan with all these homes. They have to be licensed. They have to be watched over by the state of Michigan. And I got to ask myself a question everyone should ask is, how do these places keep the certifications intact and stay open if countless girls, I'm nobody. I've probably talked to 30 different girls that's been abused, neglected, raped, whatever. Now it's forced labor. I mean, that's a new one, by the way. And forced labor. That I've heard anyhow.
I'm glad I don't want other people going through that.
No.
I'm just...
Well, I haven't asked the question because if the trauma is so high on everything else, maybe working on a horse farm and being forced to work wouldn't be that hard. So just so everybody knows who's watching this, you're worried about these records I'm going to go through. Rainey's already supplied these to her attorney, so if you plan on knocking her in the head and taking from her, there's already copies made. Don't worry about it. So they're just copies now.
And I have kids, and I'll come back and haunt you for taking me from my kids.
Yeah. Well, because I think as we go through these documents, you're going to explain to us, we're going to go through them. Yes. I think Vista Maria and probably the state of Michigan, a boatload of doctors are going to be a little alarmed that these documents still exist because people have a very hard time getting their records. They're not found. They won't give them. They FOIA request them.
I've tried to get them a couple times, and they flat out refused. Additionally, these records in particular I was looking over, they look really bad for the state of Michigan and for the 28th Judicial Circuit Court.
So we'll start. That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna go through, and this is going to be a surprise to me. That's why she's here today, really, to talk about these records. She's meticulous. She kept them. She had good records. She's one of the rare girls that has a lot of stuff. I see some stuff where this didn't happen, that didn't happen. Well, in this case, there's concrete documentation that what she's saying has happened, and I go back to, if everything she said the other day, and part one is, and this is now part two, then we can only ascertain that everything else she's saying is accurate too. So there's no lies. And I see that sometimes when people try to defend the alma mater or whatever. And I think that there is some Vista Maria fans out there, like you said, if you were in certain halls, you or whatever.
You got treated honestly, compared to what everybody else got, you got treated like a queen.
Correct. So I can appreciate if this isn't just, we're just trying to tell the truth. We're not trying to whatever, but the truth is ugly.
Yeah, and I've been to multiple halls on Vista, so I can attest to this because
Right.
I myself have experienced the complete difference.
Of course, if somebody wants to come in here and say how great Vista Maria was, I'll talk to you too. I don't care. This exercise is being driven because there's so many bad stories, and hopefully with some of the doctors we're going to go through here, some of the reports, give me a brief thing, and I'm going to read them out loud if I could. Let's start with you start where you want to start.
We're going to start with the one that made me so angry last night, I had to put it down.
Okay.
I just got to find it. One more sec. Okay, this one. This is from the court. I want you to read 13 and then go down to 15, part 1.
13, 15, part 1. This is from the court. What I'm looking at is a State of Michigan 28th Judicial Circuit Court, Family Division, Milwaukee County. Mm-hmm. It's
Lake City, up north.
It's up north. Case number 2013, which I suspect is the year this occurred. When it was written, 2013. 000008364D as in David L. The hearing, we're going to start at 13 because she asked me to, is the contrary to the welfare of the juvenile to remain in the home because the relationship between Bethany and her adoptive parents is destroyed, with violence likely to occur if an effort was made to reunite them. Okay, 14. They checked B. Reasonable efforts were made prior to the placement of the juvenile in foster and other out-of-home care to prevent or eliminate the need for removing the juvenile from his or her home. Those efforts include involvement, life skills counseling.
Pause really quick.
Please.
For the CMH involvement, I just want to make it clear. When they say CMH involvement, they mean a therapy room where my foster mother, the one that would routinely abuse me and allow my half-sister by blood, Tiffany, but also by adoption, and her child by blood, but not my brother by blood, Dexter, beat the shit out of me. So she would be outside of this room, and I knew if I said anything other that would raise suspicion, I'd get the shit beat out of me, or I'd get starved. So when they say involvement, they mean I sat in the room where I was too scared to fucking speak the truth.
Fair enough. 15. Reasonable efforts were made to preserve and reunify. I can read. The family to make it possible for the juvenile to safely return to the children's home. Reasonable efforts for reunification should be continued.
So
go back home and get raped, right? Didn't his half brother rape you?
Yes, and they knew.
Dexter,
and then
right?
No, Darren.
And
then he raped the youngest child in that home. Okay, after I left. So they allowed him back in that home. Knowing he raped me, they called me a liar though. Knowing he raped me for years, knowing he gave me to the neighbor to rape me, knowing that I told them I was so scared that I literally froze when running from him when he dragged me back down the basement steps and raped me. Like, so I told them this. And then my younger sister, by adoption, not by blood, she later, years later, when Darren came to visit them, got raped by him. And since then, he has raped a shit ton of more girls, is still out, but sometimes gets locked back up. And I've had multiple women message me on Facebook, Instagram, be like, hey, this, your brother. And I'm like, I don't even speak to him. I haven't spoken to him since he got locked. No, actually, I haven't spoken to him since I had to do the PPO against him because he cornered me in a Walmart a couple years ago when I was living over there. So, and
these reports were made to
them, to the police, to Lake City, the sheriff's department. Judge Charles Parsons knew. CPS knew. CPS even took pictures the day that I was put back in the system. I remember looking in the mirror. I had 2 black eyes. I had a cut right here, which I still have a scar from. I'm not sure if you can see that or not.
I can see it, yes.
Yep, that was bleeding really bad. My rib cage right here covered in bruises. They said I had 2 cracked ribs. I was a fucking mess.
From Darren raping you?
No, from Ella Best sitting on me while Dexter and Tiffany beat the shit out of me.
Okay.
And then that's when they said that, that's when they tried to charge me with assault and battery and domestic violence. All I did to get thrown on that floor was tell Elbeth, no, I was not going to vacuum. I was already vacuuming.
That's a serious crime,
Yeah, I told her I wasn't going to vacuum her room. I had already cleaned her room. I picked up the used condoms, all that shit. And because I said no, I ended up knocked to the floor between the living room and the kitchen with a little, those metal things that separate some rooms?
I do.
That digging into my back. My arms like this pinned down. And that was my crime. Was trying to get this woman over 300 pounds off of me and to have my
CPS
siblings.
Didn't care. No one cared.
No, they lost the evidence.
And Judge Charles Parson, with a bar number of 32759, obviously didn't care either. He probably took the direction of CPS. And
They placed me as a delinquent ward, despite me sitting in that courtroom covered in bruises and cuts.
Did that decision get you to Vista Maria or
Yes.
another home?
That's what set me to all of these places, this decision.
That began the process.
That began the whole process. And every single time I went back, again, reunification should be possible despite violence. It should be possible despite violence. 2013, 2017, 2016, February, May.
Fair enough. Let's go to the next document. Anything else here I need to look at?
You asked me to bring this back.
Okay.
Because this was something that I wrote at Vista 9 days before I graduated. So you asked me to bring that back.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to read it.
Yep. Oh, no, this was the one that I was going to read, remember?
Okay. No,
Yep.
I don't. I do this every day.
Oh,
I do
yes.
remember it
I
now,
told
yeah.
you I
Yes,
wanted to, and you said that was
it.
fine.
Let's
Yes.
start there. Go ahead and read
Just
it, please.
because this, I don't know how to explain it.
Go ahead and read
Oh,
it.
then there's so much. I'm so
I do
sorry.
remember
Okay.
that was very important to you. Let's hear it,
Yes.
please.
So I wrote this 9 days before graduating at Clarity Ford Academy.
And before they changed your grades, too.
Yes. I showed you the paperwork last week where it said I had a 3.8 and somehow it magically got put down to a 3.1 out of nowhere.
That's correct.
So I should have been salutatorian. I had the second highest GPA, and then suddenly I didn't. So that, to this day, I'm still...
Probably Wolfman didn't want you to leave it. You were a steady piece of ass.
I don't know who it was. I don't know why it happened, but it happened, and I feel a little jilted about that. Just a little bit. Academics meant a lot to me. That's the only thing I had going for me. So anyways, I'd been in placement since near the end of 8th grade. So I'd been going to what was referred as unit schools, which are just schools that are not schools. We get no education. We sit in a room drawing or doing nothing for a couple hours a day.
Okay.
No real education. Then that winter, I started to attend Clarity Ford Academy. And this was after a court order from Judge Charles Parsons. Even though I had been bullied for much of my school years, I still loved attending school. I excelled at my studies and was often referred to as a textbook or a computer with a laugh because of my database of knowledge. At any moment in time, I could spot out facts about science, current events, or even history, among other things. You could ask me who wrote the United States national anthem, and I could tell you Francis Scott Key without a moment of hesitation. I could tell you why Adolf Hitler shaved his mustache the way he did, or how to stop someone bleeding to death from a gunshot wound until they could get to a hospital. I love talking about literature and politics. I often got into debates about past and current politicians, writers, and human rights, among other things. Soon enough, college was on my mind again. Since I was in placement, I didn't get the say-so that teenagers going off to college usually got. The therapist, aka Christy Vagey, that I had been assigned to didn't want me going to college, Oakland University, where I had set my sights on. She told me that going to college was unrealistic for me, and she tried to hinder me at every opportunity she had. Finally, her wish was granted. I had applied for federal aid a month or two earlier because I didn't have any money for college, not even a penny. And like most kids, I didn't have someone helping me out, and for an unknown reason, my therapist didn't want me applying for scholarships. When I received my FAFSA information via email, I was stunned to find out that I didn't qualify for a grant. And the tip that I did qualify for, it wouldn't even cover a year of community college. In that moment, everything went out the window. And those perfectly typed words, so imperfect to me, my one chance at having a future was gone. I didn't have a family or a home, and I had been in placement for over 10 years straight. I felt cheated. The government had taken everything away from me, and they couldn't even help me go to college. I had 2 months left. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I thought it was 9 days. Oh, at that part. Okay. When I found out, I had 2 months left until graduation, and I started to thinking about dropping out of high school. Now, really quick, and I was going to, but there's a girl, I don't remember her legal name, but she would always go by Michi. She sat me down, and she was like, you are an inspiration to me. She's like, I didn't want to go to do this. She's like, I wasn't planning on doing any of this. And then your commitment to this, your determination to say, fuck these people and succeed regardless. She's like, that is what made me, get to happen. So that's why I decided, okay, I'm doing this, was because of her. However, I continued. I loved school too much and had come too far to give up. April ended and May began, and each day got harder than the last. I was still trying to deal with the fact that I would not be able to go to college when I rediscovered MCTI. MCTI did not have the program that I wanted, but it did have landscaping, and that was something I liked. Not to mention that my tuition, room, and board would be free for the short time that I would be there. Now it's nearing the end of May, and graduation is 9 days away. I can't guarantee anybody anything. What I can guarantee is that on June 8th, when I walk across that floor to accept my diploma, I will look out into the crowd of families that is there for everyone else. And I will think to myself, I may not have much, but I do have the brain, the will, and the power to speak. Maybe one day I will make a difference in someone else's life, just like my teachers made in mine. So, sorry for all that crying. College meant so much to me. And for things to turn out the way it did, huge blow. Because I remember ever since I was like 6 or 7.
Sounds like a decision on one person that said you can't go to college. But
yeah, and this tells like the same story I'm telling now. I was at Vista, wrote it, and it's saying the same thing that I'm saying now, that it was Christy Vagey, the one that was, blocking my path.
Because she could have helped you with Pell Grants. You would have been eligible for a Pell Grant.
Yeah, and I found out I was, and I ended up going to college, but then I got pregnant with my son. His birth father tried to kill my son while I was pregnant with him. Repeatedly said he was going to kill me and the child unless I had an abortion. I refused to have an abortion. So he attacked me one day. I got away. He ended up in prison for stalking, assaulting a police officer, other stuff. Got back out. Every once in a while, he comes back around. But I had to drop out of college and run. And that's what landed me back in Detroit, because I ran from the Grand Rapids area. So, yeah.
And that letter was written to who? Just as your own keepsake?
No, this was written for an essay.
Okay.
This was written for an essay. It did not get chosen, but if chosen, it would have gotten me money for college.
Okay.
So this money was for that, though.
I like it.
Letter, not money. This money was for that. This letter was
Bottom
for
line
that.
is it didn't win. It was, I assume it was a fair competition, and whoever won got the scholarship.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
good.
and I love that for them. I'm
Yeah,
so happy
I
for
agree.
them.
I
Yeah, they definitely deserve that. But yeah, and I kept that because I was like, you know what? I was like, one day, I was like, life might get hard, and I want to look back and remember my determination because I know I'm very determined. Life sucks sometimes.
Life does
and
suck
it likes to
sometimes.
beat us down.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that one way or another, I'm going to succeed. I don't know how. I don't know when. But I know I'm going to.
Good.
I got that faith.
Keep the winning attitude. That's how you win.
Yes.
Yeah, keep it up.
So I might have to cry sometimes about it, but then I'm going to get right back up and be like, this is going to happen. One way or another. I'm getting there.
There's no saying I got. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Exactly.
So life can throw some curveballs at us, some challenges.
Oh boy, and it loves throwing them at me.
Oh, yeah. Overcome the obstacles and do whatever and see what happens. All you can do.
But I can't believe they sent me a bill for Vista.
They sent you a bill?
Yes, the courthouse sent me a bill for living at Vista. I got a delinquent notice for it shortly after, like a year after I left.
That's it. You get a bill. I thought
Yeah.
it was a state-funded facility.
It is, and they got paid money for me, and I have proof of that on these other documents that says in the court order that the money, my adoption subsidy, because again, the people that adopted me, unfortunately, the mother would be like, "You're just a piece of white trash that I get paid money for." So that money that she got paid for me got sent to Vista, and it was court ordered, and I have the proof showing it.
How much did you owe? Do you know?
Oh, it was a lot. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was $250,000.
Did you fill out the financial statement?
No, I did not. I went there in person. I spoke to them. I was like, how the fuck do I owe this shit? They're like, yeah, you owe almost $250,000. I'm like, I didn't choose to be there.
You were ordered there.
Yeah.
And you were under 18, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were 16.
And they tried to force me to stay there until I was 26. If it wasn't for Jessica, I probably wouldn't have been out until I was 26.
You'd still be there today?
Well, I turned 27 last year. I'll be 28.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm 27. Yeah, I'm 27. I had to do a little math. I'm 27.
Yeah, they owe the money. So I'm sure the state of Michigan paid the bill.
I sure hope so,
I'm
because
sure
they
they
tried to
did.
come after me for it, and they sent me a couple of final demand notices. Yeah, Tamara, she still has the final demand notice for that. So I can ask her to send it to me.
And tomorrow is who?
She's a lady that I ended up homeless. My life has been hell. Okay. Let's just put it like there. I was living in a camper with no heat, no electricity, no running water, no bathroom, no nothing in the winter. And my birth family, my birth father, so a bunch of stuff happened and I OD'd. I was not a drug user, but I OD'd because I wanted to myself. And I would have been successful, but when I was fading out, I realized that these motherfuckers weren't worth it, and they could go get the fuck on. And I became angry, so then I called for help. And then because I called for help, I got ostracized in that community, and it was awful. Anyways, because I didn't do drugs, I OD'd. They said I was doing it for attention. Unfortunately, I just needed help, and they didn't get me help. But that's okay, because then Tamara took me in. She let me live on her land in that camper, and she helped me get back on my feet. Her and then Melissa helped me get my driver's license. So my birth father and sister was like, "Oh, we'll get you your driver's license. We'll have a birthday. I've never had a birthday party. We'll have a birthday party for you. You know, you'll be one of the family." I needed help. I didn't get it, which sucked, but it's okay.
Now, was that down here or up there?
That was up there. That was over in the Ludington area.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So shit happens. That was one of the moments I was, kind of down and out. But since then, I made a pact with God. I remember, everything was white and, laying there. I couldn't move or anything. I couldn't see anything but, a milky white color. But I remember praying to God, and, if you get me out, I made a pact with God hard time. And then shortly after, I got pregnant with my son. And ever since then, I've been kind of angry, and not angry bitter, but angry you're gonna fucking pay for what you did.
Sure.
And I'm done keeping quiet ever since then. So, but yeah, that was another rabbit hole we went down.
That's okay. What else we gotta look at?
Ooh, okay. Let me put my glasses back on because I'm a blind bitch. Whew. This is just showing the allegations that I was told that if I did not, I was told by my attorney that if I did not plead guilty to these, they would send me back to live with the Porters, where again, I was being physically abused. I was being sexually abused by my half-brother and all these other issues going on. So they told me if I did not plead guilty, I'd be forced to go back there. So I pled guilty to things I did not do.
Can I see that?
Yes.
Did you say the Hoarders?
Porters.
Oh, Porters. That's the name
Yep,
of the family?
Porter. Porter. Yep. They live up north too. Yep. And that's why I changed my name. As soon as I got a chance and as soon as I met the requirements by law and had the money to, I changed my name. Yep.
And how old were you? What year were you born?
1998, December 31st, last day of the
So
year.
1998. So you're 15 years old when this happened. So 1998, yeah, you're 15 years old.
Oh, no, I think I was 14. Yeah, I was 14.
Well, this says it was, when's your birthday?
The last day of the year.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you were 14 years old. You're 14 years old and you pled guilty because you're a horrible person. That's fine. I mean, the truth of the matter is the argument would be,
I know.
I realize you're a child and you don't really have much control over
But
yourself.
I've always said that, even as a child, like in the system with other kids, they'll be like, well, what did they charge you with? I'll be like, well, they did that. They said this, but they said if I didn't plead guilty, they were going to send me back to live with them. And I was scared. I didn't want to go back there.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was like, I don't know if one day I'm just going to end up getting the shit beat out of me until I don't get up.
That's just it.
So we went over that last week. Yeah, I think this just backs up the other stuff. It pretty much says the same thing with different words. I just kind of keep it all in the same folder, though, because it's easier that way.
So is
Yeah.
any other stuff you want to talk about? Some of them, anything pertinent?
I don't think so. I mean,
Not
yeah,
too
we talked
private, I
about
should say.
most things are not too private. I'm pretty open about most things. Yeah. I wasn't prepared for how embarrassing you reading some of those things were. I mean, I'm cool with it.
I would never be embarrassed. You're talking about the past. You're a child. I always tell everybody
I
this.
know, it's...
When you're a child, that's what you are. You're a child. That's what you're a child. And you can't consent to sex when you're a child. You can't. It's just not allowed. Somebody in a authoritative role, it's against the law to have sex with a child or, for that matter, an adult or somebody mentally incapacitated. It occurs. It still just baffles the shit out of me that all these people that are involved from, forget the judges for a minute. Obviously they're basing their information from professionals. These are people that are going in and saying, I recommend this, that, and the other. And the judge's defense, that's all he can do is take people's recommendations, probation officers or a friend of the court people or whoever. I get it. And they don't spend, there's so many criminal complaints and civil complaints that judges don't really spend one-on-one time with defendants. They don't.
But when they're dealing with kids, and that's my issue, when they're dealing with adults, I get it because they're already adults. They're going to make their choices, whatever. But when you're dealing with children, their life is on the line. Their future is on the line.
You're not wrong, but at the same time, in this system, probably in the state of Michigan, there's thousands of kids. Again, these professionals, these are people that only a judge can assume they've been certified, trained, educated, and to make the best decision for the child. That's the job they took. It's like oath of office. They took the oath.
But that's why they need somebody else to be able to look into that.
They do, unfortunately. The hierarchy, I can only assume, let's say the state of Michigan, I assume there's caseworker, then I assume there's like a mid caseworker, and I assume there's a high guy at the top of of the food chain that's in charge of all of them.
So personally, from my experience, my caseworker, Anju Golden, okay, he was here, and anything he was told, he'd tell the judge. So the issue is that anything he was told was from the staff. So they could tell him whatever they wanted to. And once he was told it, he would take it as law, like that happened.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
That's my point.
And then he would give that to the judge. So then they need somebody else that he should have.
That starts right there. He didn't do his job.
Yes.
If someone says, Rainey beat this girl up, there's an investigation. He goes and talks to both parties, talks to you, talks to her, see what happens. And then his findings go to the judge. So he has to do his investigation. Laziness, being lethargic, don't care. You take what the Vista Maria staff says, for example, in this case, or any other places you went to. That's my point.
Oh, yeah, I remember a couple of those.
He takes, because it's less work. It's the path of least resistance. It's the human nature. I call it lazy. His job is to investigate. So the person making the decision, no matter if it's the director of Vista Maria or some other facility or a judge or whoever, they're assuming the person did their job. They're assuming, for example, the guy who said that, I think it was you, that needed medication or whatever the case was, or didn't need medication, we assume they did a full test on you. They went through their systems, and where they went to college for, they were trained to treat you and give you different medication, treat the symptom. Well, in the cases of you and many, many other girls, the drug was clearly given because it made them lethargic and sleep. Guess what that meant? Less work. Girls weren't up.
Less resistance.
Less resistance. They could be in the room all day. So instead of doing their job and being paid what they're paid to do, to handle crises, emergencies, whatever else, these girls can be given shots in their ass or wherever all they want to put it, the booty shots, or the Zoloft or the other drugs that cause seizures and everything else, because that just created an easier life for them. So they could come to work and watch TV or sleep or have sex with you and everybody else. And that's what it was about. Drink, get high. Think of some of the allegations. If in any normal work environment, I grew up in corporate America, I couldn't go to work and get drunk, sleep, or have sex with coworkers. That wasn't allowed because we had supervision and management in place. If that was in place at these facilities, as knowing the world, it would have occurred. If they listen to you and you tell a therapist, I'm being raped, but she's worried about her husband's debit card, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and most of the staff are too busy on their phones, scrolling on their phones. Like, there was almost never a time that the staff weren't on their phones. And I don't want to say it like, no, I'm not going to care about hurt feelings. It is what it is. They were more worried about what was on their phone, their notifications, their likes on Facebook, whatever, than what was going on in front of them.
Of course. And it goes back to supervision. If the facility is being properly managed and supervised, they would walk by and see somebody on their phone. If there's accountability and measures and there was some way of the performance, they would see it. That's why it's leadership's poor. So poor leadership, because they're worried about debit cards or worried about what's for dinner tonight or worried about what this guy thinks of me or the likes or the comments on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. Guess what? That's why the job's not getting done. And it's not being done because they hired unqualified staff. I said to you the other day, the CEO that's currently in place, or at least was in place as of 2025, would not be qualified on a good day to manage a dog kennel, in my opinion. But yet, she overseeing a facility with tons of girls there, and listen to these complaints come out of this place. Now, the CEO before that, the same complaints. Think of this for a second.
They should be held accountable.
That's correct. That's what this is all about. So think about it. So I think there's 2 or 3 different CEOs, at least that I figured out. And these CEOs, if you want to call them that, allowed all this to occur because they didn't have measures in place to prevent this from occurring. They obviously allowed staff to administer shots, give medication, things that shouldn't be allowed from a non-medical professional.
I've done the training to do these things because I've been a CNA. I've held these job titles, and there's no way they're qualified. When giving people shots, they wouldn't even do it in the right area.
Correct, but where's that driven from? Of lack of, they don't want to spend the money.
Yeah, they don't want to spend. And
that's correct.
The training that they did require was so substantial. Like, even the people running the trainings they did have weren't even qualified to do the trainings in the first place.
And then to see a man walk into a teenager's room is a cause for concern. And other staff saw that and they turned their head to it. They knew what was going on, but they did what they wanted to do. And that's the problem. And
they're
that's
right back to...
Of course, they don't care. They're allowing it. And they're just probably as guilty too with these girls who want to eat normal food or have a bra or some underwear or a tampons or whatever.
Yeah, 'cause if you didn't have family, and like a lot of these girls did have family, but not everyone had family. So like if you didn't have family, you weren't gonna get these things unless like you begged and begged. Like Vista should have provided them.
And they were getting funds for that.
Yes.
You know they were. But again, if you complain,
It gets
then
worse.
you're going to get you're probably going to get your ass beat or worse. And I don't know. Again, I wasn't there. But when I hear these stories, they're sad. I couldn't imagine. Welcome to Vista Maria. Get your ass beat in a staircase and get a boot and lick my boot. And then, by the way, you're gonna be my sex partner until such time I say you're not going to be. And somehow or another, you fall in love with this piece of fucking wolf shit. And that's
grooming at its finest.
Of course, it's grooming. I heard it the other day at some function. The Epstein Island, and that's really what it was. I mean, I don't really know the case, but obviously, all those people knew that this very wealthy man was banging all these young girls, and people at these mansions and islands would see these young girls, and everybody turned their head to them. That's why it's such a big deal, because no one said anything. The sad thing about in this case is you guys tried to say something. You guys told people, you told therapists.
We were labeled liars, attention seekers. You're just trying to get people fired. And it's like, it's not about getting, why would we put ourselves in this position for this shame, for this? We know that people don't believe survivors. Survivors are the people that are asked for evidence and documentations, and the abusers, well, they can say, well, I didn't do it, and they're automatically believed. Just those few words, I didn't do it. They take it as law. But survivors, we could have the proof and still, doesn't seem like that kind of person. I think you're making it up. And it's just, unfortunately, it's the norm.
Because you're stereotype, throwaways, sluts, garbage, drug addicts, piece of shits. That's what you're stereotyped as.
And even the colors, like at Vista, gray, you're suicidal. You want to kill yourself all the time. Maroon, you're a horrible, violent, awful person. Blue, you've done some pretty fucked up shit, but you might be worth saving, maybe. Purple, oh, you're going to be a great fuck toy. Because purple was from when I was there anyways. Those people were from sex trafficking rings that got broken up. So just the color from what you wore, the staff note knew who to target. Like which ones would be easier based on their preference.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but even like the girls we knew based on color, well, the gray girls are the ones that always want to kill themselves. That's not true, but that was the stereotype that we were all told, though.
That's interesting. Yeah, and whoever made that decision, probably some psychiatrist says, "This is why you want to do this." And probably no investigation or anything else or protocols. Again, I think we could probably talk all day, all night. And summarize whatever. It's just a shame to me. It really is just a shame to just, you lived it, so I'll say it. Just imagine being alone in the world, being locked in a room that you got to knock on the door to take a piss. You've got to wait a day, 2, 3, 5 days to take a shower. And then
real stinky up in there.
Oh yeah, because
real stinky and
because
hairy.
These adults who are whatever can make these decisions because they're not supervised, managed, not hired correctly, and then ultimately use the word a minute ago. Someone's because you wear the color purple, you're a sex object, or easy or whatever. But at the end of the day, and you're a child in this lonely room of this world you live into. You can't make phone calls. You can't call your mom unless you're being a good girl. And they listen to the phone conversation.
Yep, and they can force you to hang up at any moment.
Right. There's no privacy. You're stuck there behind basically a barbed wire fence that's several feet tall. That
they watch you shit. They watch you piss.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you're living. So it isn't. That's just the world we live in, and we allow this today. This is occurring today. Not at Vista Maria yet. even though I hear, I don't know if it's true or not. If it is true, it's unfortunate, and someone's going to put a stop to it, that they're planning to use one of the halls as a detention center. So again, that's a money grab.
Lord's Hall was the detention center. That's what basically it was. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. They're going to reopen it for the detention center or something like that.
Wait, what? They're reopening it?
That's what I heard on a reliable source. Ooh. So if it's true, who knows?
If it's true, I already know we'll be protesting that heavily.
It should be, because if that's the case, it's a slow way to open back up again.
Most
to
of the
get back to where they did business.
From like our group chat, we want it demolished.
It should be demolished because there's too many bad memories there. It goes on for decades. What amazes me more than anything else, if I just talked to everybody that was 27 years old, okay, it happened in the last 10 years. No, I've talked to people in their 50s. That means decades have gone by. And then I think I told you I was privy to some of the information back in the beginning of time there with their records. It's been going on for 100+ years, and nobody has stopped it. And it's even worse is it wouldn't be hard to figure out if I don't really want to shoot anybody when it comes to this, but I do look at accountability, and I do know the girls get there because either the court puts them there or the state of Michigan puts them there. Nobody knocks on the door and goes, "Hello, can I stay here, please?" No, someone's got to pay for it. So I assume the state of Michigan pays for it. What bothers me the most is how do facilities, not just Vista Maria, but the other of them, I went that list of 7 or 8 with you, they were all except one, and then that one, the girl killed herself, which makes it, because some guy was having sex with her as she was a child. How do they get away with it? That's their job. And their only job is to make sure they certify the facilities. And I can only assume there's a check and balance with the state of Michigan to say, we got to make sure this place is licensed. But on the other side of the coin, you watch the news, nursing homes, people are getting abused. They get neglected. They get raped.
I have seen that myself, too.
I've got a meeting with the guy next week, another podcast interview unrelated to Vista Maria. In this particular hospital, he was 12 years old. And the guy was 17 years old. And while he was in the room, his mother didn't want him there with a 17-year-old. And then she finds out later that he had been raped multiple times by this 17-year-old. Even though she didn't want him in the room because of that, they are sure there's 24-hour surveillance, blah, blah, blah. And we were researching the other day, that same hospital had settled a lawsuit unrelated with him for like $113 million. But he didn't include himself. I don't know what the story was. I haven't asked him yet. But so now all he had was autism. So now this autistic kid who's 12 years old, his mom takes him to the hospital to get treatment. He goes to the psychiatrist or whatever, mental hospital, whatever it was, and she doesn't want him in the room with a 17-year-old kid. But yet, it doesn't matter. Don't worry. It's under 24-hour surveillance. And that brings me to my next question as it relates to Vista Maria. That's also under surveillance. And who watches the cameras? Because I got to ask.
So that's a misconception.
As I get to this, I'm going to talk to you next week. Obviously, nobody's watching the cameras. It was misconception there, and they lied to the mom. Now, Vista Maria, what makes that a misconception with the cameras?
Because there's not cameras in every hall. Some of the halls have cameras, yes. Not all of the halls have cameras. Lord's Hall, I think if any cameras, it was outside. I don't think they had, from my recollection, they didn't have indoor cameras.
Lawrence Hall was the hell hall, wasn't it?
Yes. There is no cameras in there because they said it violated HIPAA. So they couldn't do it. So I do know the fancy halls, though, at the edge of the property, they had cameras. But because they were the little black ones.
Was there cameras in the rooms, like in the padded rooms and stuff?
Not in, I mean, I don't know about the other halls. Because, again, I was at Lord's Hall, and then I was sent to there's 2 different halls that were royal blue. I sent to one of those ones. And then after that, I went to one of the independent living halls for like 2 months. But so those ones the independent living ones definitely had cameras. I remember seeing them. But Lord's Hall, there was no cameras.
So do you know, maybe you ever seen like a operating center, a command center type with people watching cameras?
Only at the security station. There was a security guard at the edge of the property to let cars in or out, and he had a small monitor in there. But other than that, I personally have never seen cameras in there. But I could be wrong. Again, I remember some things, not everything. Maybe there was, and I just don't remember. But I'm like 99% sure there was no cameras in Lord's Hall.
It's interesting you bring that up. I'm from the security guard world. I built a large company, sold it a few years ago.
Oh.
So I'm familiar with Vista Maria for many reasons. But the company that's there now is Garda World. So Garda World, if you Google this story, is the same company that secures Vista Maria for a number of years. I'm guessing 10 to 15 years, somewhere in that area, probably when you were there. So Garda World is a national guard company doing billions of dollars of business. There was a place in Detroit called Brewery Park, and Brewery Park was an office building, and they hired this guy, the security guard, to work at this property, and while he's at work or something, he left the job site, went to a motel in Detroit, had met a guy. He allegedly had sex, and then he beat the guy and killed him and went back to work. So whoever did the investigation did a great job. They quickly arrested this Garda World security guard, and then come to find out this Garda World security guard had a criminal past that they never checked. And so if they would have checked, he probably wouldn't have been in a trusted uniform in a position and lured this man into a motel room. And the result, he was murdered. But that goes to show you that if the checks and balances were done on Vista Maria, Garda World employed this criminal in a 5-star office building called Brewery Park in Detroit with no background check, nothing. So if they did it there, I bet you can bet they did it at Vista Maria. And if the backgrounds were done on Vista Maria personnel over the last 10 or 15 years, I bet you would find there were criminals too. So basically you had criminals watching criminals. And, I, without saying much more about it, but I also know that there was one particular female there probably 6 years ago that worked the day shift that did have a criminal record. And they employ those people there. So, and then they wanted to change companies, and this company would not hire this individual because of the background. And because of that, they kept Garda World, and to my knowledge, they're still there today. A company you can Google on, just go to Fox News, Brewery Park, hotel murder, whatever, you'll find out. They admit to it. We just had a lacking of our management, and we did a poor job doing a background. We're sorry. And these companies write these checks probably to the family, makes it go away. But people like me will always bring it up because I don't know how in the security business, because I was in it for 40 years, how you can hire people without an adequate background and follow the law. The law says you can't, and you
Because how
shouldn't.
can you expect them to follow the law if they're at work, if they don't follow outside of work?
Yeah, so Garda World, people, I always say big companies don't change. They don't follow the laws. And of course, in this particular case at Brewery Park, there's no way they followed the law. They employed a criminal who took a man's life. That's basically what he did. And so, yeah, it's kind of sad. And that's, but that's what we're dealing with. So people like Vista Maria, they probably allowed who to work there. There's no check and balances. They probably trusted the guard company to put the person in the gatehouse. He or she, or this case, this woman got so familiar with the property and so familiar with the visitors, the state police, and everybody else that goes in and out of there. It was kind of upset their business. They got rid of her. So instead, we'll just keep the same company, even though they were unhappy, even though there's issues. And whether she's still there today or not, I don't know, but she was still there then. So those are all facts.
I don't know how they can sleep at night knowing this. Like, maybe I'm just a genuinely good person, but I don't know how people can do things like this and be okay with it.
I think that, people live under a rock. It sounds like a lot of us do, quite honestly. I've driven, first of all, I've been on the property of Vista Maria before. Early on, when I wrote my book over here, back a couple of years ago, one of my stories stayed with me. Vista Maria has always bothered me because what I heard more than saw, and you just knew behind those walls, creepy shit was happening. And
Creepy shit was crawling,
and
too.
of all the shit that I'd done in my entire career, on this little 300-page book, that Vista Maria story stays in here. And that was one of my top stories in the beginning of the book. And think about it. I was nobody. I didn't have a pot to piss in. And I
want to read that, by the way.
And you should read it. I'll give you a copy.
Yay.
But they look at it, and that stayed with me through 40 years and literally thousands of accounts in multiple states and hiring tens of thousands of people. Somehow or another, early on writing this book, Vista Maria stood out to me. And there it is. I mean, that's why I say it's always bothered me. Because I always not feel guilty because I wasn't in a position to help anybody or do anything. I think, did I tell you the story? My friend does an internship program there.
So question,
Sure.
Aren't you one of the first people to publicly speak out against Vista, though? Like one of the more well-known people.
I was the first. I was one of the first.
But that's what I mean, one of the first. So that right there, that's you doing something. You're using your following to gain traction, give it more more followers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I talk about it. I mean, one of the things.
So
here,
that's you doing something, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think years later, that's probably why I'm doing that. Years later, like I said, I put together, when I sold my company, I had choices what to do. And I thought, well, I'll go ahead and write a book. And then when I write a book, I'll go on a book type tour and sell it. And then I'll go and start a podcast, talk about the book and the stories and the security business and stuff like that. But then as this thing started blowing up late last year, it's like, well, I have to go a different direction. So selling a book it's not really hard. It's just, you have to go out and talk and see people and go on different podcasts or news or wherever you end up going to. And
I'm doing a lot of research on that right now myself.
It's very time consuming because if not, it's just on a shelf. No one knows about it. And I did that like in, I don't know, January, February before it was coming out. But then kind of when the book got released, I just kind of started doing this. We sell books all the time, but not in what I wanted to sell by no means. But it's okay. I'll get to it because I'm smart enough to know that if I'm successful here, that book will sell automatically. Because
absolutely. They'll know your name and they'll see it and they'll want it.
Right. And I'm going to go to the next Vista Maria. I don't want to stop. So I'm going to go to the next. When this one's done in its conclusion, whatever that may be, or while this is going on, we'll go to the next one. Like I said, I got that meeting next week with that guy from a hospital. That may be my next stop. And before you know it, maybe I can maybe make change. I can make things happen just by virtue of that, because I always want to tell the truth. I love kids. I think that, a kid, and I define personally a kid up to age 18. You're a child. I think you're allowed to be a child. I don't think no one has the right to steal that from you. And I realize children aren't perfect. They can be fuck ups. They can do stupid shit. And
but
our
with the
jobs,
right guidance and the correct people.
Our job as parents is to get them help, guidance, leadership, and make decisions in their best interests to make them good adults. And that's how the world turns. So when I hear stories of abuses, simple ones as being a slave, getting beat up by the stepmother or the foster mother, or just a physical abuse, that's not necessary. You're a child. You don't get beat. Now let's go into the other things: slave labor, rape. Yeah, I couldn't imagine knowing I'm in this room at Vista Maria, knowing any given time this man can just walk in and bam, and I'm a child. I can't make those decisions. So to me. Now, do I think now after dealing with this now for a few months, I think it happens a lot, more than we ever know. And if there's anything I can bring to the table is bring it to the top. And hopefully the scum quits their job, and it's replaced by true professionals. There's things put in place. Of course, the statute of limitations is a big deal because these pieces of shit know that these girls have no rights after 10 years. On the criminal side, most of the statute of limitations are 7 years. Now, with the exception of parents now or close grandparents, parents abusing and molesting kids. It's dirty. It's ugly to talk about. Nobody wants to hear it. That's why no one talks about it. Everybody lives in la la land. If you live in la la land, it doesn't happen. So it has to take a guy like me to go, well, this is what's going on. It's ugly. I don't really want to talk about it, but someone has to, and nobody is. And that's just the way it is. And that's what I want to accomplish. And hopefully as we grow this thing and people like yourself who clearly has a brain, you can't do it alone. And next thing you know, that's your job as they go investigate the next place and the next place and the next place.
I got a list.
And the list will always continue to grow. And then, that's where it needs to go, because I can't do it alone. I'm sure that, getting attention here, people, obviously I know the analytics, you can tell that people get nervous, especially if you're guilty. I mean, if you're beating little kids or fucking little kids, you don't want to hear me talk. And they say, think about this, the chances of being molested in the United States is 25%. But they also say, if you Google it, that most go unreported. So if 25% is reported, let's just guess another 25% goes unreported. So that tells me that probably 50% of children in America are physically and or sexually abused. That's sick. Now, the problem with that is the people doing it are the ones making our decisions every day. So they're the ones probably slowing it down. Now, how do you bring attention to it? Has people tried what I'm doing today before and they're taken down?
So I feel like that, yes, the comeback on it, like you're probably going to have people coming after you or your show that are in power, or like at the people that we have mentioned, they're likely going to try and like tear you down. Trying anyway to find the flaw in what you say.
Of course.
And as long as you speak truth, there is no flaw. So search as long as you want. But they're going to try and discredit you any way possible. And then like if it gets severe enough, they might try and off you. Like
they could. It's always an option. Or worse. Or you get
there's easier ways.
As I'm saying, so it isn't like one of the best guys I like out there. I know he's very controversial. A lot of people don't like him. I like Charlie LaDuff. Because the guy's got, he'll call anybody out for anything, and that's what he does.
Regardless of the comeback.
He doesn't care. And he had a great career here in Detroit, and he's been locked up and everything else, and he's done everything. But he still goes out and does what's right for the people. That's kind of what my motive is try to bring light to this serious situation. So some 14-year-old kid today is going to go to college and become a therapist. Maybe it'll make it easier for him, because it's already a tainted system. The system's tainted. It's got, obviously people are lazy, lethargic. They just kind of they show up for work, they turn their TV on, they beat the girls, they rape the girls, they don't feed the girls. It's the system. It's got to be changed. And I'm only one person. You're only one person. You're a victim of it. So maybe together and with the help of a lot of others, we can change it as long as we change. That's why I constantly promote to people, I don't do this for any money. I'm sure someday I will make money. That does not drive me today. It costs a ton of money. I could sit in the studio and make probably $2,000 or $3,000 a day renting it out if I wanted to. I could get in here and talk to business professionals and every single day and get a following very quickly, because this is an ugly subject. This is ugly because mom turns her head. Mom knows dad's doing something, but mom turns her head. Or the brother he turns it off. So, but if people just take the time and then they listen and people share it and comment and do all the analytics that make it better, it will grow faster. And even in doing this, I look at some of the subscribers and stuff, and even here, and it may even be driven because the girls doesn't want to talk about it. I bet you 80% of the girls today are not subscribers here. I don't understand why, but I mean, it's their choice.
They might not know.
I talked to them. I had one here the other day, and
so the ones that have already been here aren't subscribers.
That's correct.
What?
I know.
What?
I know. And
I subscribed before I left.
I know, but it's okay. That's how people are. But maybe they don't want to talk about it no more. Who knows? But it will grow in time. It will get attention. Your story is wonderful. I always say that I could talk to you or any of the girls I've talked to so far for hours, probably days, because it's ugly. It's ugly.
And I'm not afraid to speak the truth, no matter how ugly it is.
Yeah, yours ranks up there as one of the worst ones because, the truth is your attacker is probably now in his 40s or early 50s. He obviously violently beat you.
Oh, I'm
then
gonna find this man.
And so do I. I will find that man for you. He violently beat you. And you had no choice. And so you can't have consensual sex when you're a child. But besides that, even if you're a grown woman, either put out or get beat up. It's the two choices you have. And if you want some finer things in life, like I'm referring to treats or candy or underwear or tampons, you must suck my dick. That's what you must do.
I enjoy not bleeding down my legs. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but that's how you're driven. So I don't think that you can. It's terrible. And if you go through that, so the ideal is to change it. The ideal is to get the word out there, and the word is not make it go away, because those people like him, they have to go live under a rock, or they have to come here and defend themselves. They have to, because we're going to continue talking about it. We're going to find him. You're going to find him.
The thought that comes in my mind when I think of this: 1, 2, we're coming for you.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong, because someday along the way, as long as this gathering grows and people talk and there's a platform, someday, someplace, someone will say, Mr. Wolf was Mr. X. And then from there, we'll pull it up. And I can pretty much find anybody on a moment's notice. It's just a matter of time. You can run, but you can't hide. So we're probably going to find you. I put $2,000 up earlier, and that's a true statement. And
$2,000 reward.
That's what I'm saying. $2,000.
And my eternal gratitude, of course.
Yeah. And then just to go find the Mr. Wolf guy and ask him, what the fuck were you thinking? And honestly, maybe the statute of limitations has expired for him.
Oh no, it hasn't expired yet.
No, for him, for a criminal.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know the law well if it did or didn't.
I don't think it has. Not until I turned 28. 10 years is the statute of limitations. Okay. And December 31st was going to be my 10 years.
Okay. Well,
so
then,
he's a few months too late, sir. He's going to jail.
So hope we find him. If that's the case, then, you just make a criminal complaint. Once you get his name, you make a criminal complaint, and the police will take it over from there. And so who knows? I mean, that's what I'm saying. If people know that voices exist, it may stop them from doing it. There's rapes that won't occur today, or assaults that won't occur today, because they know that 13, 14, 15-year-old girls are going to grow up and speak, and someone's going to go look for you.
Oh, yeah. And that's why, they try to make girls feel ashamed about it.
Of course. Because
then if you feel ashamed, you're less likely to tell. I feel ashamed about some of this shit. I know it's not my fault, but I feel ashamed. Especially about that journal. Since I was in love with that man, grossed out and disgusted with myself. I know I have no reason to, but that's what these predators depend on, is you feeling like that. So if you feel like that, well, then you will keep your mouth shut, because you don't want people to think less of you.
I agree.
And that used to be how I would have been, but not no more.
And you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
And even with my close friends, and my close friends have always known about this stuff, because I'm very open about it. Because unfortunately, it has made me who I am today.
It's changed your life.
It has. Definitely changed the direction.
That's for sure. Is there anything else you want to discuss, talk about today?
Nope. I mean, one last thing. I should have had a hearing aid. They tried to say that I didn't have damage. Vista tried to say that they didn't know about my hearing issues. It's printed. They did.
Yeah, there's so much wrong there.
Yeah, it's just another thing. There's just so much. It's just so many things. It's that and the meds, and it's all these girls. They were all medicated. Almost. I don't think there's a single girl at Vista that was not on medication. Oh, and
you're right. Every girl I've talked to so far was on medication. Now, either all girls need medication, or Vista Maria is not rehab, the drug. I guess you want drugs, go to Vista Maria. I mean, that's kind of how you look at it. Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. Vista Maria is fucked up, in my opinion. Vista Maria is not a place I want my kid to go to. It's not a place I'd want my grandkid to go to.
And I met a lady the other day, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, isn't Vista Maria the place for the bad kids?" She's like, "I was gonna send my daughter there." It's like, "Well, I'm sure glad you didn't." She's like, "Me too," after hearing what's been coming out.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing is, parents do this. They don't know better. They're trying to make the right decisions in most cases. I get that, But I don't think a parent can just put their kid at Vista Maria. I think it has to be done through the courts or through the state.
Absolutely does.
I don't think you can just show up there going, like I said earlier, knock, knock, I'm here. That's
As we get a court order.
Well, I guess I'll close this out with saying, fuck Vista Maria, fuck Mr. Wolfman. I hope we both burn in hell.
Yeah, and we're coming for you.
Fair enough. Let's call it a wrap. Thank you for watching or listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, like, and follow. And if you feel someone can benefit from what you saw or heard today, please pass it on. And always remember, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Most people just dream it. Very few do it. Success isn't an accident. It's a story. Let's tell it.